Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the podcast with myself, Keith Corcoran, and Gary Smith from Celtic Appreciation. It feels like we haven't done this in a couple of weeks, guys. It's been a while.
Obviously international break, mate. Just messes everything up.
100%. Just that international break always drags in. Even though it was good results for Scotland and Ireland, it was just dragged in. But we have a lot to talk about tonight. We have about 45 minutes to talk about bits and bobs. We'll go through a few comments, and we'll also say most important is we'll talk about the game tomorrow. Look, they've won 2-8 in all competitions. They obviously gave us a hockey and over. In Celtic Park they did 4-0. Even though we didn't play that bad attacking wise that night, we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. Are you optimistic about tomorrow?
Don't know. To be honest, I don't see us going through to the next round of the Europa League. I think it's going to be the Conference League for us. But listen, I don't think it'll be a doing tomorrow night. I think I would fancy Leverkusen to come through it and win, but I don't think it will be as big as obviously the scoreline at Celtic Park was.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about that now. Look at obviously that night at Celtic Park, it was just a shambles. We're just atrocious. Like David Turnbull giving away that stupid mistake and all, but the whole team are liable for the defeat. We're on form. Obviously, the weekend, we're still buzzing after the weekend. I think it made it even better with our rivals getting beaten by Hibs as well. So it's an all Bertie Auld cup final. I haven't spoke to you since Bertie passed away. Did you go up to Celtic Park? Did you pay your condolences?
Yeah. I'm working on Friday, so I'll not get to see the funeral. But I went up last Monday to just to lay a scarf down, read some of the messages and things like that. So
yeah, it was a lovely tribute. Like even when I found out the news on Sunday, like everyone else did, I just trying to do a record. I just couldn't. I was just like grieving inside because we've talked about Bertie many times, face-to-face conversations. Bertie in his blazer, and he always had time for anyone, any fan, regardless what age you were. He always had time. He went to every game as well. But I think it's time where, as you said many times on the channel, to build these statues down Celtic way.
Yeah, I think so, and I think there's only 4 lines left. So I think it's about time Celtic put something in place to try and get the Lisbon lines properly commemorated down Celtic way.
Definitely, because it'd be nice to literally have them all done, even the remaining ones, to just kind of do a ceremony, like a presentation. But it's just we knew he was sick for a while, and I was saying to good people I know that didn't want it to happen, but it was gonna happen eventually. This dementia it's sad the amount of footballers that we've lost to dementia. Chalmers we lost to dementia, McNeil we lost to dementia as well. So there's gonna be no better team in history what Celtic done within a 30-mile radius to win all them cups and do the European Cup. If it's the case that we didn't do the European Cup, we wouldn't be world renowned for the history that we pulled off that season.
Yeah.
But the way we done it was unbelievable. He's up in heaven now. And my family are with it. Obviously, we thought with the family for Friday and then for the foreseeable future. What a wonderful man. When did you meet him, Gas?
I probably first met him. I was playing a kind of charity game at Celtic Park years ago, and we got to go into the home dressing room, and he was the manager, and some of the stories he told us, it was just phenomenal, and just to meet the guy for the first time, and that's the thing. It's like anytime you met him after that, it didn't matter if you were meeting him for the first time or if you knew him for years. It would always make you feel like you're his best pal. It would always greet you with that kind of expression. It's like, "Oh, how you doing, son?" And as if he knew you for years. So he's a great man, a great loss. But as I say, some of the stories I've heard them are just legendary. And as I say, I would have loved to have got him on the podcast, but obviously it didn't work out timing wise, kind of thing.
I'm sure you'll try to get Lisbon line on. With podcast going.
I thought it was a great touch for wee Jamesy as well to donate he donated his match shirt for the weekend to Bertie Auld's family as well.
100%. Folks, I'm just looking at, I have this on the big screen, so like that's where you can see all the comments and stuff. So bang along with the comments. Tomorrow night, I'm nervous about tomorrow night, to be honest with you, because we're playing against a quality team, and they should be in the Champions League. Ange touched on it today that they're really good opponents, and they will take it to them. He's not going to change his style around for any team. I don't know, you watched the podcast he done with Soy Ferry and Slaney?
Yeah, I watched it Monday, yeah.
Yeah, it was a good podcast, but he just seems like he's loving Glasgow. He's just loving he love living there, and the funny thing is after that, I know he's done he done an interview before the AGM started, and you're talking about him being a fashion sensation in Glasgow, and he's saying that his wife dresses him and all that. Absolutely brilliant. But yeah, he's just grown on us more each time, doesn't he? Like even the way he presented himself to the fan media a few weeks back, and then he done the interview with Slaney and Soy, and then even with just the way he is. Like even today, they were asking about ticket allocation. He was like, "I've nothing to do with ticket allocation. Why you ask me that? I'll give you one more pass." You know,
he's and obviously I think it was the AGM. He was saying, he was trying to explain to the fans. He's saying, you guys don't understand how friendly you are. I've been walking about in the streets of Glasgow, and people have invited me into their home, for dinner or a cup of tea. And he's like, I've never experienced that in my life. That is just Glasgow in general. Do you know what I mean? If somebody takes to you, then your family basically. That's what it is, and hopefully he pushes on and delivers the first cup in a couple of weeks.
It's mad to think a year ago if Neil Lennon was walking around Glasgow, people would be throwing pelters at him, and there's Ange like running out like paparazzi, like unbelievable. But it was good. It was good win on Saturday. It was a tough game. We knew we were going to be hard against St. Johnstone, and they were the reigning champions. To give us a game, I had a few opposition people moaning on me on social media. Oh, it was a handball for Jota. Well, look at the amount of corruption with other teams in the league. Handballs and that shouldn't have been sending off and stuff like that. Like Jota, he just needs to be signed, get over and done with, Nick.
Oh, 100%. From what I'm hearing, he's loving life in Glasgow and he's desperate to stay. So I'm hoping that we can get a deal done in the summer. I know Ange was saying that there's no rush to get him signed in January. We've got first refusal. The fee's been agreed if we want to sign him. So if the fee is going to be $6.5 million, it's going to be probably one of the biggest bargains ever in Scottish football. $6.5 million is a lot of money in Scottish football, let's face it. But when you get a player of Jota's talent, and you can see, even when he's playing, he's pulling on the hoops. That Rabona against St. Johnstone early doors was outrageous, absolutely outrageous. And I just thought it was superb again. It was man of the match again on Saturday.
100%. He should have had a goal. Should have had a goal or two, but he was absolutely. You could see even with him and Callum, like the link-up play. I know Callum was more attacking because he had Beaton sent on defensive midfielder until Welsh got sent off. But they're just playing with confidence now. Like there's no reason to fall back on. Everything's going good, so everything's going really well. And if we were to lose tomorrow, that should knock the confidence. We're guaranteed European football past Christmas. Mm-hmm. So it is the Conference League. The difference between the Europa League and the Conference League is if you get into the Europa League, you're guaranteed $500,000 for getting into the next round.
Yeah,
and if you get into the Conference League, you're only guaranteed $300,000. So next to 200,000, I know it might not seem a lot, but every little helps, especially going into European football. But it attracts more better names as well if you're in the Europa League. But I'm just annoyed that we haven't had Julian back yet. This hope of having Julian back fit and ready, and we're still got to go through 2 international breaks since the news broke that he should be back in the next international break, and we're still Where is he?
I don't know what is happening with him. Whether it's a recurrence of an injury, whether he's picking something up in training, he's picking knocks up in training, and it's setting him back. I don't know. As I say, hopefully we'll get him back before the new year. But I mean, listen, I think the defence is pretty solid as it is without him. Even I know it would make that defence stronger. Obviously, who he fills in for has yet to be decided. Do you know what I mean? Does he come in for no staff outs? Obviously, still injured. Do you know what I mean? So you're desperate
He's a week
to get
away.
him back in the team as well.
He should be back for the Dundee United game or the Hearts game.
Yeah.
So he should be back for that hopefully. And we have 12 games in 42 days, which is a tough schedule. And there was other vloggers saying that the SFA are not helping Celtic at all. So the weekends that we play in the cup final, we're meant to play St Mirren. We're going to play them on the Wednesday night after the cup final.
Mm-hmm. I mean, listen, it's for me, it's not up to the SFA to help us. We're no in a European final. It's not like, we're on a mazy run in Europe where, the SFA could potentially step in and say, right, we'll rearrange that fixture. Do you know what I mean? We're still in the group stage of Europa League. So for me, this isn't an SFA problem. I think it's unfortunate we've got 9 games in December, I think. I just think it is what it is. We just need to get on with it. And I know Ange is certainly got that feeling where, let's just get our heads down and try and win as many games as possible and climb that league.
Yeah, and I know there's fans that are looking too much into the 2nd of January and looking too much at the cup final. As I keep saying in this channel, you keep saying it, putting the head down, take every opposition, focus on Leverkusen tomorrow. When Leverkusen's done, we have Aberdeen at Celtic Park, which Scott Brown will be back. No one's really touched on it yet. Scott Brown was nominated for the FIFA Fair Play for what he done with Glenn Kamara. Who do you think should win it? Do you think it should be the Danish team for obviously?
Hands down. Listen, when Scott Brown did what he did, it was an amazing gesture, and I think everybody was taken aback by it. But at the end of the day, listen, the Danish medal. I don't know why Claudio Ranieri for a guard of honour is in there. I think they were struggling for names and they've just threw them in.
Should have been in Newcastle. Should have been in Newcastle and scores.
I don't think it's Sampdoria into Milan. Game is a big derby, so I don't get the big deal for that one. But listen, the Danish medical team for what they did for Christian Eriksen deserves it hands down. And I know every other Celtic fan that I've heard from says exactly the same thing. But my God, can you imagine if Scott Brown wins it? Glasgow will be in meltdown. Absolute meltdown in Glasgow.
The Bruni, what a man. We need him back in some capacity. I just miss him. I just can't. As much as I like Callum as a captain, but in the back of my mind, I still think of Scott Brown injured or out for a long rest of the season. That's what I keep taking in my mind. But playing against Jamie Frimpong tomorrow, he spoke highly of Celtic when he played us at Celtic Park. They obviously after they beat us, they got smashed by Bayern Munich 5-1, and he went on a bit of a drought. He beat Betis, I think it was 4-1. Yeah. So we need Varos to do us a favour tomorrow, and we obviously need to go out and play a decent game of football. He's not going to change something. He's going to go 4-3-3.
Yeah, I like the way we're playing away from home in Europe. We seem to be playing this kind of gung-ho style of football. Obviously, 2 early goals against Betis. Potentially could have been 3, and we would have been out of sight. We end up losing the game 4-3. But just a cracking game of football to watch, and then obviously we go and beat Ferencváros as well. So. Listen, I think I love the fact that we're playing this brand of football home and away, and I'm not nervous about tomorrow. Whatever happens. We're guaranteed Conference League, and when you look at the teams that's involved in the Conference League, it's not such a kind of Mickey Mouse tournament as it was first feared, because you go to teams like Tottenham, Roma, Rennes.
They got an ass whooping.
I think Copenhagen are in there as well. So the decent teams in there. I mean, imagine drawing the likes of Tottenham or Roma and bringing them to Roma, especially with Jose Mourinho. You know, imagine them coming to Celtic Park and even going to Rome. That would be phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? So, I'm no really nervous about tomorrow.
Here's a question to you: with the form we're on, and if we were to say get a draw tomorrow, I know a draw's not good enough, and we beat Betis and we go into the Conference League, do you think we have a good chance of going on to do something serious in the Conference League?
Well, it depends on how serious you want to take it, because I know Tottenham aren't really taking it that serious. So it depends on where we are in the league, because let's face it, the league's a bread and butter, especially this season with the Champions League being up for grabs. For me, I wouldn't be too bothered if we went on a run or not. But I think winning breeds confidence, and if we keep winning in Europe like we have been, then why not? I think we could beat a lot of teams in there.
My problem that is, like, if we get Pat, which we are guaranteed, we're 2 games in February/March, we're in the crunch time of the league.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably, so I'd rather put a B team out in the last.
Yeah. Listen,
last
obviously,
16 or last 32, whatever it is.
We're hoping by that point that we've really turned it around and they're starting to crumble. You know, and we're potentially 5 or 6 points clear, maybe, of them in the league. So you're kind of hoping that that's the case, because there's a lot of games between now and by the time you play those Conference League games. So you're hoping that we're in a better position league-wise, and then maybe we can play a stronger team in Europe. But only if we're playing somebody like Tottenham or Roma or Rennes, that you're not going to the arse end anywhere, like, somewhere in Kazakhstan or something, and then it's a different story. Do you know what I mean?
Well, that's 11. But I have to say, what gave me the fear on Saturday was Joe Hart. 3 times. 3 times. See O'Halloran. See when O'Halloran he scored, I was like, oh my God. I was like, we would have been a laughing stock. But he needs to get it right tomorrow. And he's been pretty decent in Europe. The only bad kind of performance he had in Europe regards to that was the Alkmaar game, where was a Welsh left the ball and it went and Starfelt could have tracked it, and Joe Hart came out and made an absolute shambles. But he's been a great keeper so far for us. Like, loads of clean sheets so far.
I mean, when Joe Hart signed, I can remember a few of my mates saying that, they didn't want him at the club and they didn't think he was good enough. And my point was, if we can get him playing as number 1 week in, week out, 60,000 fans behind him, we can get him back to
Are you still there?
City days. Yeah, still there. Still here.
One second there. Yeah, I'm back up and running anyways. As Gaz was saying, Joe Hart's been a good keeper for us. I don't know what happened there, guys. The internet is acting the ghost. So we're back again, folks. Sorry about that. Stay away from the dark side. Yeah,
I see.
let's go through it.
You were saying about Joe Hart.
Joe Hart's been a good keeper so far for Celtic. Look at everyone. Everyone has a few bad performances, but he's been consistent. Okay, he just needs to realise that he doesn't have enough time on the ball. Stop taking so much time with it. Just clear your lines or pass it off, like big time. Like I think St. Johnson kind of sussed it from previous games, analysing us that put pressure on him. He's eventually gonna crack on one or two. Like especially in the second half, it was just we got over the line. We're in the cup final, and who would imagine when Ange took over that we're gonna be in the cup final before Christmas, and we're only 4 points behind in the league compared to last season. So look, it can all change around. Bumpy games ahead for both teams chasing for that league.
I think, to be honest, I thought we were still well in control. I know St. Johnson had chances, or half chances in the game, I would call them. I know probably the Halloran one is probably the closest they came. But I was never in doubt that we're going to see it out, and obviously I know we left it late. It was great to see Forrest getting the goal. And it just felt, it seemed to take an age for the ball to come to him and for him to smash in the back of the net. So, listen, delighted we're in the cup final again. It's I know we're still unbeaten. I think Rangers were the last team to beat us back in 2015, was it, for the Scottish Cup semi-final. That was the last time we were beaten at Hampden. So hopefully we can take that unbeaten run into the final. And, you're hoping that Hibs choke again in the final that they usually do. But I don't know what your opinion is on the whole ticket allocation thing, but I'm very surprised that they only took under 10,000 to the semis.
Under 10,000 Hibs?
Yeah, to the semis, yeah.
Matty, to be honest with you, their voices were heard anyway.
Oh, listen, they were loud and clear, but I'm just very surprised that we didn't sell out a bigger allocation to the semi-final, especially against Rangers. Now they're all shouting about we want an equal split, and I'm like, normally I would say, do you know what? I think both teams deserve an equal split, and then if a certain team can't fill their allocation, then the other team gets it. But listen, if you're only taking under 10,000 to Hampden for a semi-final, where's the other 20? Where's the other 15? No 15, but 14,000 coming for then?
Well, there wasn't many St. Johnson fans there. I think there was 5,000 of them.
No, but I don't think St. Johnson would have demanded 24,000 tickets for the final. Do you know what I mean? That's the difference. I know Jack Ross is saying he's a bit baffled because we're taking the semi-final allocation into respect, but I just think 17,500 is plenty for them, to be honest.
100%.
It's just going to be great to see Hampden decked out in green and white.
Like the last time it was a green and white final was the Scottish Cup in 2013. We won 3-0 that day. Joe Ledley and Gary Hooper with 2 headers.
Aye, that was a great.
No, it wasn't 2 headers. It was a header. Stokesy swung in 2 of them, and I think he got onto one at the near post, or the far post, was it? And then obviously the header as well, and then Joe Ledley scored a goal from 25 yards out. Nice goal. But that was when we wore the black jersey, and they wore the green and white. And I always remember, I think it was Lee Griffiths put his hand on Brownie's head, or Brownie put on his hand on Lee Griffiths' head. Lee Griffiths was raging he is. And then obviously he made them out to Celtic a season and a half later.
It'll be interesting to see who gets the home jerseys for that final. Or whether we'll wear away jerseys, maybe, I don't know.
Let's go back to the 80s. Let them wear both green and white.
Just have a kick of it.
That's it. We're more likely we're going to wear the white jersey tomorrow because they're red and black. So they wore the blue jersey at Celtic Park, so I'd say we'd be wearing the white jersey tomorrow night. Last last time we wore that white jersey in Europe, we were unfortunate to get beaten by Betis, but have a bit of hope.
Listen, that is what it is. I mean, obviously, they're not playing great. I think they won at the weekend against Bochum, 1-0. But as you say, like a big defeat to Bayern and Wolfsburg in the league, and obviously drawing with Hertha and Cologne. But listen, they're missing. I think they've announced today that they're missing 4 players for the game tomorrow. Obviously, I think Karim Demirbe, Mitchell Bakker, Fonsu Mensah, and Baumgartlinger is they're all out. And I think the players that's doubts. I think Ilario, who scored at Celtic Park, he's a doubt, as well as Bellarabi. So a lot of injury worries for them. I know Patrick Schick's just back to training as well for them after an injury.
Do you start James Forrest tomorrow or you start Abada? We'll tell you what, we go from the back up and see what people say as well. So do you want me to go first or do you want to go first?
Oh no, you go first.
So it's not going to change the back four, from things are going well. So Hartstead's in goal. Right back has to be Rolson. Rolson's been phenomenal in Europe. Look at his last out in Europe, he hit the crossbar, but he doesn't need to sort out his socks. That's a joke, like delaying the game. So Rolson right back, Jovanovic left back. Obviously Cameron Vickers plays and Welch plays. Welch has recovered from his elbow. About that elbow, what do you think? Do you think he meant it?
I think it was probably a red card, to be honest, but I don't think I wouldn't be too harsh on the referee. To be honest with Nick Walsh, I think it was refereeing.
Clancy.
Was it Clancy? No, Clancy was doing the Hibs game.
Oh,
Nick Walsh was doing it.
Yeah, I got confused watching them playing games. Could take it all in.
I wouldn't be too harsh on Nick Walsh. I think I think it was just after the goal, the elbow, and he's maybe just thinking Stephen Welsh is time wasting a wee bit. So, and there was a few elbows flying about in that game. So, I wouldn't be too harsh on the referee, but I did think it was a red card, to be honest.
What did you think of when Kyogo was obviously got fouled, and then the guy came in after it? What's his name? Start with B. Brighton or something like that. I can't even. Bryson went in and he started literally, and Kyogo pushed him, and that's Kyogo's not. It's not in his nature to get angry like that.
Yeah.
And then there was a stage where Yotte was running rings around one of their players, and the ball went there for a goal kick, and one of their players was shouting in Yotte's face. I was like, "What a spastic!" Like.
I think that was. I think it was him and Chris Kane were having a wee bit of ding-dong through the
Brown.
game.
Brown.
Who was Brown?
Michael Brown. That's who he was in his face.
All right. No, I thought it was Chris Kane when that was in the second half when Jota kept kind of going down under a kind of nudge for Chris Kane, but there wasn't too much in it, and I think Kane was accusing him of play acting, to be honest.
The tribute for Bertie Auld from the Green Brigade was phenomenal.
Absolutely superb. Something else. Whether or no they'll let themselves down in other areas in Glasgow on Saturday, I'm not too sure. But as I say, like if they stick to just what they're doing at games, then brilliant. But we can do without the other stuff. Chatting that they're just letting themselves down and letting the club down.
I understand. Well, I have to say, regards to the Bernard Higgins speculation, like the club couldn't come out and say that he's not out of running or he's in the running at the AGM. They should have just done a cold cut and said, "Look, we're not going to appoint him." The fans of the amount of organisations, club like Celtic supporters clubs, fan media. Now, I haven't signed it just yet. That have signed this petition against the appointment of Bernard Higgins.
Mm-hmm. When you look at it, I mean, I don't have a season ticket for Celtic Park and I try and get to as many games as possible. I don't really know too much about this guy or what the whole backstory is. I know a lot of it kind of stems the fans aren't happy, and I think Celtic are playing with fire because we're in a good place at the moment, especially with the fans. We feel as if we've connected back with the fans. I know Don McKay.
There's a unity there, no togetherness, a unity, as you would say.
Yeah, and we need to keep that together. We need to keep that going. So I think I don't think Celtic will appoint him. I think they're trying to appoint him, but I think they're going to gauge the kind of the room and think if this gets too big, then
Would you not? Would you not think like
to,
did you not think he get the hint that like he's not wanted at Celtic Park? A good portion.
He won't care. He won't care. You know, it's a job to him. He won't care if he's liked or not. It's a big money job probably for him. So he won't care. But the fans will react badly to the board and the club, and that will react then towards the team, and it'll affect the team. So I don't think Celtic will appoint him, but I think they're trying to do their best to get him in, you know, without too much hassle, kind of thing.
Right, we'll go back to the starting lineup because we got interrupted. So the same back four: Beaton, defensive midfielder, Callum. If Rodgers was fit, I'd say Rodgers, but Turnbull's gonna be in there. Right wing has to be James Forrest, left wing has to be Jota, and then up front Kyogo. Jack Max is still out with his knee. I can't see him starting Albion yet against Bayern Leverkusen. So you go with Kyogo, simple as that. Strongest team.
For me, it's probably pretty much the same. Only I would probably start with Abada. I think James Forrest is going to become a kind of squad player for the majority of the season until
that's realness. That's a realness comment.
Until Abada is suspended or injured, because I think if we can keep those front three fit, then that's going to be the way to go.
But guys, he hasn't had a decent game. The only last decent game he's had in about 10 games was the one against Werner Varsh away.
Aye.
About it. Like, he's been nitpicking. He hasn't been at the standard where he was when he started.
Aye. No, I get where you're coming from, and it is a 50-50 toss of the coin, whether he would start Forrest or... But part of me doesn't want to rush him back too much. I know you could probably give him an hour tomorrow, James Forrest, and then bring him off for Abada. Or you could do vice versa, and you could give Abada 60 minutes or 70 minutes and then bring James Forrest on. For me, I'd be starting with Abada and then bringing Forrest on for 20-30 minutes and maybe playing Forrest at the weekend, maybe starting him at the weekend against Aberdeen.
It's not a bad show. You're looking at you're thinking prioritising putting the league first. I get your point there. Well, what's the saying? You could give them about a half.
What's that?
You can give them about a half, and you can use more subs in Europe as well.
Aye, true. You could do. As I say, I just think I know Aberdeen are going to be weakened by losing Funsi Ojo at the weekend to a quite ridiculous red card last week, but I just think we should have enough in the tank. Whether you play Abada or Forrest at the weekend.
Aberdeen are still not like last time Aberdeen came to Glasgow. They got an iconic draw, so their heads will be still up for kind of after playing in Glasgow last. But they're being shocking this season on Stephen Glass. Like, I would have thought he would have been pushing for third at this rate.
Aye, I mean they've not had a great season, but as I say, like a lot of teams weren't having a great season at the start. So some teams have found their feet. Motherwell have been playing really well. Dundee United have been performing well as well. Hearts are still there. I know Hibs were drawn with Ross County earlier on. I don't know how that finished, but they'll probably still be kind of on a high for Sunday. But no, I think, listen, Aberdeen's always a kind of tough game, but I think with the form that we're on, the way we're playing football, and touchwood, we've not had any European hangovers yet in the league after European games. So, you're hoping we come back and bang a few in, 2 or 3-0, hopefully on Sunday.
Do you think we should sign a centre-back in January?
Yeah, definitely.
Considering we don't know what's going on with Julian.
But I think there's a name that I've mentioned a few times, Big John Suter at Hearts.
You actually mentioned him about 6 weeks ago, and I laughed at you.
Aye, a great goal for Scotland, obviously against Denmark. Great performance at centre back for Scotland. So I think he's definitely a player. The only thing that worries me is obviously injury. His injuries that he's had, kind of thing. So that's the only thing that worries me. But somebody like him, I would be looking at, kind of thing.
Well, he's free to sign a pre-contract now from next week. He can talk to clubs. His contract is up in the summer, and there's like 6 teams in the championship that's looking at him. QPR is one of them. Preston's one of them. Talks of ourselves, our Rangers going in for him as well. I wouldn't mind Suter. The only thing that gives me the only fear about Suter is the injuries, or could he be another Jack Hendry?
Mm-hmm.
He goes to a big club and he might crack.
Well, if he does go to Celtic Park, the fans need to get behind him and no do what they done with Jack Hendry. I mean, they never really gave Jack Hendry a chance. He shattered the boys' confidence, and you look at him now, he's obviously playing for Club Brugge, playing Champions League football. So he's obviously recovered from that, and obviously made himself a Scotland international as well.
Mm-hmm. It's an interest. I would take Suter, but it's a case that you've Starfelt there. Are we going to push for Carter Vickers to be a permanent deal as well? There's something telling me that we won't get Carter Vickers, even though he's been solid.
Mm-hmm.
I
would love to see us get him. I don't know how much a fee he would command. But listen, he's a Tottenham Hotspur player. I don't think they're going to ask for double figures. But I think if we can get him for about
4 million.
4 or 5 million, I think he's well worth 4 or 5 million, I think.
Watched his interview today, and he was saying that he's loving life. He's loving this. He's relishing the chance of playing in front of the fans and to get into the final. Like, he's just there's no club like Celtic. You know that way. Like, when you're loved like that, the way Kyogo and Jota is loved, why would you want to play football anywhere else?
I think Jota. You can see when he was scoring these goals against Dundee before the international break, and just his performance against St Johnstone. He's playing with a smile on his face, and he's loving life in Glasgow. Definitely, I think everybody's bought into the whole Ange philosophy, and another 2 or 3 guys is the backroom team seem to have bought into it. I don't know if he's maybe turned them around in terms of where they were. They were obviously, I know a lot of people were wanting them out the door, Strachan and Kennedy especially, but he seems to have kind of formed a bond with them as well. So I know he wanted his own.
He's working them probably 7 days a week anyway, so he's gonna have to at the end of the day, these lads see these more than see their own family.
Aye.
There's gonna be a match every second or third day, every third day until the winter break. Yeah. So there is talks that he's going to bring in a data analyst as well. Now he's obviously bringing in a sports nutritionist, a sports science player, a sports science lad. You bring in. They used to be a part of Greenock Morton, but director of football still don't know what's going to happen with director of football. They'd never really said it in the AGM. Like, it was discussed, but they never came out and gave a concrete answer that they're going to get a director of football. Yeah,
and no surprise that Don Mackay wasn't mentioned, and nobody asked the question why he left, which was surprising. But again, not really surprising, because we didn't think we'd get a definitive answer as why Don Mackay left the club. I just think
but even the pre-AGM video, and they just literally didn't mention Dom, and you were talking about Lawwell being a massive part of the recruitment of Ange. I just think that was a slap in the face to Dom. So Dom must have been trying to literally rebrand the club, put us forward as a business too, and yourself, the club, the board probably just were like, nah, we're not putting into you. You're going to have to go.
Aye, because I think ultimately it would have meant they would have been shunted out of the picture. But listen, I don't get why they didn't want him rebranding the club, because if it means more money for the club, it surely means more money for them and the shareholders. So I don't really get why they didn't want to buy into it, but who knows? But I just think there seems to be a strong unity at Celtic, a real family atmosphere with the players. Some players are miles away from their home. Like me, Kyogo, I know he's on a permanent, so Glasgow's going to be his home now. But like said, Jota, he came over here at such a young age. Abada, great T-shirt. I wonder where you got that for.
I wonder where.
Their sponsors. But no, as I say, and I think that was time we done the established in the Christmas ad that dropped during the week there. So I think that was, it was a real nice touch, I think, to kind of to put that point across.
And that was on the 4th of November as well, so there's been a big difference since then.
Aye.
Like more winning games and unity. I know there's an international break in there, but yeah, the Christmas ad was good. I was gutted that Ange wasn't the big man in the red suit or the green suit.
I thought they missed a trick not having him as Santa, to be fair.
Yeah, I was a bit gutted about that. Maybe because it's younger people watching, they don't want to confuse them, They would have been like, where's Ange? But I thought you would have heard Jota singing or something, That's what the only bad.
He obviously
bad thing.
He obviously can't sing, but I thought he was. Even when you look at the start of the Christmas ad, there's a wee homage paid to George Michael with the Christmas song Last Christmas, where he comes out the wee cabin when it's snowing, and that's obviously in the Christmas video. I thought everything just worked absolutely perfect, and
did you see the making of it? They don't open a hotel. They did up beside Lennoxtown.
Aye, it's even the song, Eddie Reader singing the song, and it actually took me a while to realise that it was a tribute for Bertie, because Auld Lang Syne, and obviously the wee message at the end.
And then they had the special light effects at Celtic Park and all at Celtic Way. It was much better than the one last year. The one year last year was so cringy and brutal. It was just weird.
I can't even really remember.
They were running around the storeroom of Celtic Park and all they were. And you had.
I can't really remember. See, I thought they did the day one last year because of COVID for some reason.
No, they don't want Ryan Christie and Callum McGregor and Celtic Way, and they go around with their. You want to call them house coats or dressing gowns, whatever we want to call them. But no, it was a good ad. Like you could see the unity in the squad, and I know obviously they have to put everybody in them to fill a part of it. But Barkas wasn't in it.
I didn't notice that.
Bain wasn't in it.
I thought it was quite quickly filmed in terms of the shots were quite quick.
Yeah.
So you couldn't really catch who was kind of who. I mean, I thought it was great to include like Mengyu, the female, the first Chinese female player to play in Scotland, and Big Fran with shades on, turning up in his sports car. I thought that was great. I just thought it was excellent that they involved everybody in it.
Missed us. But it's squad in good position at the moment. They appoint a new manager. We're not going to talk about them, but I think it's down the line. They're panicking. They need to start selling players because they don't have the money. Like, who would have thought? Like, Morelos is not even worth 2 or 3 million now at this rate. No one wants him.
Exactly. I don't even think I didn't see the game much in Sunday. I
watched it.
I don't really know if they had a sniff at goal.
Back off.
I mean, they played their best team, and their best team were 3-0 down after half an hour. So listen, I know a lot of Celtic fans are saying should be signed Martin Boyle. I think that's just a wee bit ridiculous because he's scored a hat-trick against.
I was saying it ages ago. I've done videos on this. I've done videos of me being linked to him, and I have went off the pedal. But he has scored 13 goals this season, and yes, he's a squad player. We need a score. We need a striker.
I certainly think he's better than Albion Ayeti. But is Martin Boyle coming to Celtic to sit on the bench like Xander Clark's been tipped to come to Celtic in January? Is he coming to be is he coming to be a second choice keeper to sit on the bench every week? No chance. He's not coming to be anybody's second choice.
Well,
So
clear Barkas out, get two odd million for Barkas and let him go back to AKA Athens. Take the loss and go for Martin Boyle.
I mean, listen, he's obviously a good player, but I just don't. I think you could be doing better. I think you should be going out and getting.
I think we can do better,
strikers.
We could raid the Japanese market, which the talks about looking at a Danish player from the Japanese market, a lad called Janker.
Well, you look at it and you say to yourself,
I made it.
For talking sakes, we're trying to win this league to get into the Champions League group stages. Should we really be looking at players like Martin Boyle?
But look at here's the question to you: like, should we be looking at players like Scott McDonald at the time? And we got Scott McDonald, and he done the job.
Scott McDonald's not a Scottish player. I know he played in Scotland, but he's not a Scottish player. Yeah,
but he's Scottish roots, like, like he could have played for Scotland, but he picked Australia because he raised up in Scotland, and it's vice versa for Martin Boyle. He's Scottish, but he had a chance to play.
I just think you need to be bringing in European style players like Kyogo, like Jota, like Abada, that's going to make your team better.
Yeah, but we're not guaranteed they're going to make our team better. That's the risk you take.
Not just domestically, but in the Champions League, because there's no point in going into the Champions League with a team.
Now, let's be honest, guys. We're not going to do anything in the Champions League.
No, but you've got to at least try, because
we're going to try, but
because we're starting to get players. We're starting to get players like the ones I mentioned. That and you can see it in Europe already this season. You can see how much better we're getting with players in our team like that. That know how to play in Europe. So for me, I wouldn't be looking down the route too much of.
I just think Martin Boyle would be a domestic solution. I understand where you're coming from, Europe. I think to have him on the bench would be an option. I think getting Martin Boyle would be an option. You could play him on the wing, even though we have Abada and Forrest, but we play him up front. Kyogo's tired. What are we going to go for? Albin Vietti or Giacomakis? And Giacomakis is constantly injured and he's not fit. This is a bigger laughter story than when Griff was. Griff wasn't fit for the whole last season. Giacomakis is holding an injury from 3 weeks ago.
I just think that a lot of fans jumped on the bandwagon because he scored a hat trick against Rangers on Sunday. And
I'll be honest, it came back into my head. I always wanted to get him, but I didn't think. I honestly, I had the same brain power as you. I wanted to just say, look, let's go for someone better than Martin Boyle. But when you look at him, he's played for Hibs 200 times and he scored 70 odd goals for him. He's doing a decent job. He's done a decent job for Hibs. We've got players from Hibs in the past. Look at we got Didier Gat, and he done a job. We got Scott Brown. He done a bleeding job. So we've got the likes of Chris Killen, and that didn't work out for us. But
No, I get what you mean, and listen, maybe bringing in Suter and Boyle in January.
Well, if this is what I thought was going to be. This is what I thought was going to be before we hired Ange, and we talked about it many times. I think it's going to be a domestic kind of buying market because we're trying to rebuild a team, and I didn't think they'd have to go out and splash the money, but they did. Someone said, "What do you think Scales is going to get a job?" I think Scales is going to be more likely put on loan to get experience in the league.
I don't get why Scales. I know I've not seen a lot of them, but I don't get why. I still don't get why we're playing two right backs on the pitch week in, week out. I do not get it.
Leadership and experience.
I just think we'll run a massive risk. In 1 week, it's going to all fall apart, and either Ralston or Juranovic is going to get injured or suspended, and we're going to be like, what do we do now for a right back? What do we do with our defence now? So I think, listen, I'm not saying you can drop Ralston, but I was hoping he was going to get a rest for the international break. Stevie Clark calls him up, and he comes on for his debut for all of 2 or 3 minutes. But
it's a massive incentive for him. He's going to get better and better. This is what my fear was if he got the contract and he took a foot off the pedal. I didn't think Celtic would give him a contract until at least the new year. maybe March, but he's earned it. Like, as you watch Soy Fair's interview, at the end of the day, Ange says the door was open for everyone. And if you don't want to be part of my plans, the door's closed.
Aye.
And move on.
No, that's fair enough. And listen, I know Ange was saying that it's no down to him that Tony Ralston's became the player he has become this season, and he has done a phenomenal job at Celtic. I'm not denying that, but I'm just saying, to be playing Juranovic and Ralston as wing backs, I just think it's a bit foolhardy. I think you need to be playing a left back in a left back's position, whether that's ball and goalie, whether that's Scales, whether it's Montgomery, or when Taylor does come back, and when he comes back,
you don't want to be disrespectful saying, is that dead wood there in them positions, or is there too many options that we're not consistent in them positions?
Montgomery for me is a decent enough position in the league domestically. European, nowhere near ready yet.
Montgomery needs a loan, I think.
Aye, I think
he needs a loan to get more football, getting beefed up. He's only 19. Give him a bit of experience in the league. Like, maybe a Dundee United would suit him.
Aye, I would agree with that. But for me, while Taylor's out injured, it's a straight swap between a straight choice between ball and goalie and Scales.
Scales. Ball and goalie. And then
you can chop and change between Ralston and Juranovic at right back, and then it gives Ralston the rest that he probably needs.
But the same point, guys. If they're playing out of skins, why would you want to change it?
No, I get that, but I just think it's a risk that we don't need to take. I just think it can mess the whole defence up if it goes wrong.
Yeah, and what do you think of the rumours of Scott Bain getting a new contract? Meant to be getting a new contract.
I think Scott Bain's probably going to be your second choice keeper for the foreseeable.
As you said, it's Zaluski.
I don't see any problem with having Scott. I think he's better than Barkas. And he's probably the best that we've got, apart from
Hart.
The Irish boy, Conor Hazard. Obviously, in terms of reserve goalkeepers, so he's definitely above Hazard. So for me, I just John Joe Kenny.
Not a chance. Won't take him back.
No, I think he showed himself up for no really
especially
being
with the Derby
good enough
game
for Scottish football. Aye, not being good enough for Scottish football, to be honest. But listen, I think Ange is doing well with the players that we've got, and he's revitalised some players. And as I say, hopefully we can keep Jamesy fit now. We can get Julian back soon, hopefully. Get Taylor back, because the more players you've got back, the more selection headache you've got. But we're in a good place now, and if we can keep this win and run going, regardless of what happens tomorrow, because I know I think they're away to Livingston on Sunday. I might be wrong.
Here's a bold statement. Do you think that squad is good enough to go unbeaten for the rest of the season domestically?
Could be.
I don't think. I think we need more ammunition in the.
I wouldn't put it past us. Listen, we definitely need to strengthen in January, but I think if we do strengthen in January and strengthen in the right departments, it's a possibility. We're no shitting many goals. I think we've scored the most goals at any team. We've conceded the fewest goals for any team. Probably most chances created as well. So I just think we're going to get stronger and stronger.
Hopefully. Right, what's your team for tomorrow? You said you bring Abada in instead of Forrest.
Yeah. I'd give Abada 60, 70 minutes and bring Forrest on, possibly.
I hate saying this in the Celtic page, I'm thinking with my head and more than my heart. I think we're gonna get beaten tomorrow.
I think we'll get beaten tomorrow, and I don't see Ferris.
I think we're gonna score away from home, though. I don't think it's gonna be a walkover, like as you said at Celtic Park. I'm gonna go 3-2 to Leverkusen tomorrow.
I think 2-0 or 3-1.
No, I say 3-2. I think we're going to score up a set piece tomorrow. And I think there's going to be a nice free flow. Once they go out and play the best they can, like as much as we got beaten 4-0 against Leverkusen, I wasn't distraught after that game because we actually tried to score. Like, it wasn't a case that they had possession and we weren't putting anything up there.
That was a case of,
as you said,
if chances go away early doors, that game, it's a different game. If Kyogo puts his chance away, Jota,
that's what we've been like away from Europe.
Away.
The last 2 away games, we went out, hit the ground running, scored early. So if we could do that tomorrow and put them under pressure in front of the home crowds, and I'm sure there's going to be many Celtic fans over there in Germany.
Obviously, BT will be inside an empty Celtic Park after yet again the powers that be that think they run Glasgow decided that Chris Sutton couldn't get entry into the stadium tomorrow. Listen, I don't know what BT Sports can do in terms of this season. They probably can't do anything with the contract this season. For me, I would be saying to Rangers from next season, we are not showing your European games on the channel. Simple.
Too much money to be lost.
Simple as. Something needs to be done. Something really needs to be done. And it can't be a UEFA fine or an SFA fine. It has got to be something serious because they're just like they're dictating to anybody and everybody, whether it's SPL sponsors, Cinch, whether it's BT Sports, or we're not allowing certain pundits in and we're not allowing certain TV companies in. They think they're in Scottish football.
They didn't let Judy in. Judy that done the vlog for the derby with me and Mick. They didn't let him in, even though he's in the Leon end.
Aye, I just think, I mean, Chris Sutton, I don't get why they can't let. I mean, even the last time we no letting Neil Lennon and Chris Sutton in, they would have been in the stadium to cover the Celtic game, and then they would have left, and the Rangers pundits would have came in. So I don't get. They would have been in an empty stadium anyway, pretty much. So I don't get what the big deal was. Just like I don't get what the big deal is if Chris Sutton's standing there pitch side. I just, or whether they're going to do it in the studio, but obviously they're going to stand inside an empty Celtic Park and cover both games. I just think BT Sports must be so frustrated and so angry, and it just shines such a bad light on Scottish football and especially Rangers. I just think they're an embarrassment.
Maybe they're just out in one of the studios.
They'll probably do it, and I'd imagine it will be outside because of COVID and things like that. I think they'll try and keep it outdoors. So it'll probably be pitch side at Celtic Park, but it'll be an empty stadium, obviously. So they have said that they're going to set up at Celtic Park, so it's definitely going to be in paradise. It's just a shame that it's going to be an empty stadium because it's the Rangers fans that's sitting in their houses losing out. Listening to, missing out in Van Bronckhorst's first game as Rangers manager, they're missing out in the atmosphere. So, listen, it's saying it's losing out, but I just think it's embarrassing. And obviously, Chris Sutton reacted tonight, just a simple tweet: anyone, everyone.
I know. So did you see what he said after the game the other day? He was like, "Do you all want me going home sick of tea?" He literally loves shitstorming them up, doesn't he?
He loves it, but I just don't get why Rangers can't let him in. It's just ridiculous. Honestly, it's so petty and so small-minded. But that's him in a nutshell.
That shows that it's never. If they're doing that to Chris Sutton, are we ever going to get the allocation back at this rate? Never.
No, definitely not.
I just think we'll just have to get on with life. That they're not getting allocation at Celtic Park, and we're not getting allocation. Like Van Bronckhorst might turn around and say to them, "Give them the allocation back," because the last time was Corny Gerrard.
It's not going to be up to him, but
yeah, well, it's just over a month until that game happens. But as I said, there's loads of football to go before that. There's like 11 games to play.
Yeah,
we have tough games in there, but I just don't think so. I think Celtic fans need to stop thinking about the cup final. Let's just play. Let's get the main games done and dusted first.
That's it. Nine games in December. Take it a game at a time, and let's see how we get on. If we came out at the end of December with unbeaten, with the majority of wins, then listen, I'd be delighted.
I suppose. Right, here's a tough one. Here's a mad one to throw in you. When all your league games are drop behind 2 points, 6 points in the league and win the League Cup.
So again, drop behind 6 points in the league and win the League Cup.
Yeah.
Or
so 7 points behind them going into the derby with a League Cup, or not win the League Cup and 4 points behind.
Well, obviously win the League Cup.
I'd rather be 4 points behind them because I want to win the league more, as much as we're going for the League Cup.
Listen, I don't think we'll drop any points in the league anyway. Whether we win the League Cup or no, I think it'll be a tougher final.
I will be.
I think it'll be a much tougher final. With Hibs, the hope is that they came out and play football, and it's just end to end then, because what you're not wanting is for them to sit in with 10 men behind the ball for the majority of the game.
And our Hibs won't do that. Like, look, we had the experience of playing Hibs. We ended the grudge against Hibs at Easter Road. Aye. I think Hibs are there for the taking.
Oh, 100%.
Like, 100%. Rangers were there for the taking the other day. I had a feeling Hibs would do them, but I didn't think they were going to do them in that fashion. I thought it was going to be a scrapey 1-0. But you seen what Golson said after the game.
Aye. And I know there's been a lot of thing about why Tavernier didn't come out and speak. So obviously, things are going pear-shaped up at Ibrox, and we just need to win. We just need to keep winning. And whether it's Aberdeen at Celtic Park or Hearts at Tynecastle or whatever, or Dundee United away, we just need to go.
That's it. I just don't think we should focus on what they're like when it comes to league wise. I just don't think we should focus on who they're playing the weekend. Let's get over their game. And if they drop points, they drop points. It just means that we're a point behind them, or we go ahead of them in the table. At the end of the day,
says, let's run our own race.
Like, I think when Ange talked about he done an Australian media interview, and he's talking about the whole Livingston thing. Like, obviously dropping points to Livingston, like it's a battle every week, regardless who you're playing. And I think some fans are looking too far into the derby. We have a good team playing against us the weekend. Aberdeen, then Hearts at home, and then we have Dundee United away in Tannadice.
Yeah.
So these games, all these top six teams are like, we have them coming, and we'll get them over and done with.
That's that, and it's just a case of winning these games.
Yeah, Jackie came from the Firmland. His dad played for Hibs though as well.
Aye, his old man plays for Hibs.
But we'll leave it there. I'm confident there will be goals. Both teams will score tomorrow. My heart says Celtic, but my head says Leverkusen. I know that sounds terrible, but folks, we just have to take it as it comes.
Listen, the team might surprise us, Mora.
Exactly. Go out and hit the ground running. You never know what we're in for.
Can you imagine beating Leverkusen, Mora, and taking it to the last game, Betis at Celtic Park? 9th of December. It's going to be electric. It's going to be absolutely electric. Winner takes all.
100%. Right, guys. Thanks very much for coming on. I better go. Walk out in the morning, so I'll speak to you all soon. Thanks very much for watching. If you're only popping on to see it now, you can subscribe to the channel. It will be good. Speak to you all soon. Take care. Hell.